Hello, business enthusiasts, and welcome back to the Business Boys Bodcast. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of Hinkley Point C, a colossal nuclear power project in Somerset, England. We will explore the project's history, delve into the reasons behind the delays, and uncover the broader implications for the taxpayers, the real costs to consumers, the UK's energy future, and the political controversy surrounding the project. This 2-unit, 3,200 megawatts electric European pressurized reactor plant, announced by the UK government in 2010, is a joint venture between EDF Energy and China General Nuclear Power Group. What sets Hinkley Point C apart is not just its scale, but the international collaboration behind it. Financed by a French company and a Chinese state-owned company, this project holds a promise of supplying low-carbon electricity to nearly 6 million homes, generating jobs and impacting the UK's economy. Construction began in 2017, but it hasn't been a smooth journey. Delays and budget overruns have pushed the project cost to a staggering $46 billion by 2024. Despite the setbacks, Hinkley Point C is pivotal for the UK, making the first nuclear project in 30 years. So fasten your seatbelts, listeners, for a deep dive into the heart of Hinkley Point C, the powerhouse shaping the future of UK energy.
Wow, I'm always a fan of understanding the origins and histories of businesses and organizations. So that's an amazing insight, Kev. Let's now look at the burning question. What are the reasons for the delays and increasing costs of the Hinkley Point C project? Well, the owner of the nuclear power plant, EDF, has blamed the COVID-19 pandemic and Brexit for the rising prices and delays in completing the project. We'll talk a little bit more about how Brexit affected the project's completion in a bit. The plant in Somerset has been under construction since 2016, and although according to France's EDF, its initial due date was supposed to be in 2025, it is now expected to be finished by 2031, costing up to £35 billion in 2012 prices, which is around £46 billion in 2024 prices.
Exactly. It might be useful to look at an overview of the project's timeline. In 2011, an application was submitted by EDF which included a plan for the construction of the Hinkley Point C. The project was finally approved and given the green light in 2016, which at the time was estimated to cost around £18 billion. The HPC project included 2 European pressurized reactors, or EPRs, and EPRs are a type of nuclear reactors that create electricity by harnessing the nuclear power, which is achieved by converting water into steam by way of heat. The construction of the HPC included Unit 1 of the plant originally scheduled to start electricity generation in 2026 and Unit 2 in 2027. However, this is changed to 2028 and 2029 respectively.
Interesting, Kaif. The pandemic had an obvious impact on the construction of HPC, but it would be important to look at another major factor, Brexit. According to a report published in 2023, it was found that between 2015 and 2022, the cost of construction materials, cement, timber and steel increased by a striking 60% in the UK compared to 35% in the EU. The construction sector repeatedly called for less red tape to reduce costs, and last year, the government agreed to delay implementing the new UKCA safety mark.
Furthermore, Anthony Frogat, Senior Research Fellow at Chatham House, said EDF was already concerned that Brexit will make it harder to import skilled EU nationals to build Hinkley C, which is promised to provide around 7% of UK electricity. Similarly, the scrapping of the HS2 high-speed rail link and other UK infrastructure projects could also be explained by skilled staff shortages. If you're not already familiar with the shocking reason behind the partial shutdown of the HS2 project, make sure to go watch our previous episode, linked right here.
Thanks for that look into the Hinkley C timeline, Hamzeh. I find these UK infrastructure projects like Hinkley and HS2 really interesting because in one way or another they seem to affect everyone in the country. As you've mentioned, the project was initially scheduled for completion in 2025 with an inflation-adjusted budget of around £33 billion, although additional costs ballooned the price to £46 billion in today's money. So let's take a look at how these delays and costs may affect workers and the UK consumer.
Well, firstly, it is important to understand that the Hinkley C nuclear power plant is the first new nuclear power plant in nearly 30 years. This means that many of the skills of the labour force needed to complete this project have needed to be built up as the project has progressed. As such, Hinkley C has created 22,000 jobs over the project's lifetime, 1,200 apprenticeships, and 30,000 training places. And that's not all though. The Hinkley C project is also part of EDF's wider vision. As such, there are also plans for an identical plant, the Sizewell C. What's great about this project is that 70% of the construction value will go to UK firms and it will add 70,000 UK jobs, 1,500 apprenticeships, and support 3,000 UK based suppliers. All these jobs are reportedly having a positive effect on the local economy as well, and every £1 invested resulting in £2.5 for the local region.
That all sounds very positive, but I still think we should be talking about the delays. Stuart Crooks, managing director of Hinkley C, knows that the project is currently 2 years behind schedule, 15 months of which are due to COVID and 9 months due to labor shortages, inflation, and other factors. He is, however, optimistic that the second reactor at the Hinkley plant should be created 20 to 30% faster than the first, and that the Sizewell C plant should see efficiency boosts as well. There is the counter argument that this plant is very similar to the ones completed in France and shouldn't have taken longer to make. But to meet British regulation, the plant required 35% more steel, 25% more concrete, and 7,000 design changes. So these delays may seem justified.
That is true, Hamzeh, but it doesn't help the UK consumer or their pocket. Although Mr. Crooks states to the BBC that taxpayers won't have to pay a penny for the delays at Hinkley C, as the project is largely funded by private investors, the government has slowly been building up their stake in the Sizewell C plant to the point that they've invested £2.5 billion and own a 50% share alongside EDF. Therefore, it could be argued the UK may now have an interest in Hinkley C and its completion, with the plant being identical. So hopefully then the UK government won't have to use any funds on Hinkley C, although it wouldn't seem a surprise if they did end up using taxpayers' money.
Well, Will, you'll be interested in what I have to say because these delays do actually appear to have a cost on consumer bills. A section from the Hinkley Point C value for money assessment report on the .gov website explains that a 3-year delay in the project could make consumer bills rise by an annual £24 in 2012 prices or £33 in 2024 prices. This is because Hinkley C is set to generate power for 6 million homes and alternative power sources would be needed in the meantime. Another interesting aspect is that upon Hinkley C's completion, 3 years of top-up payments are expected to be fronted by the consumer. Therefore, looking back to Mr. Crook's point on the taxpayer not needed to pay for the delays, it seems although this is strictly true, consumers will definitely be paying for the plant for some years to come.
Now, one of the biggest reasons for the complexities with this project is the involvement of multiple countries with varying interests. Let's start by addressing a fundamental question. Why were other countries allowed to be involved in such a crucial infrastructural project for the UK? Hamzeh, could you shed some light on this?
Certainly, Kev. The decision to involve in other countries, particularly China and France, in the Hinkley C project was multifaceted. The sheer scale and cost of the project, estimated at £18 billion, initially necessitated substantial funding. China is able to undertake nuclear projects with much lower costs due to its economy being state-controlled, which provides the necessary regulatory and financial support and cheap labor. This gives them the much-needed expertise for carrying out such a project. The skill set China and France had to offer along with the investment they would bring in are some of the reasons why their involvement was considered valuable to the project. Another reason is the strategic advantage the UK hoped to gain from this transaction that would strengthen UK-China relations and attract more investment from China. This can be gauged from the comments made by the Chancellor George Osborne in 2015 at a joint news conference with the Chinese Vice Premier.
But we can see now that despite the optimism for UK-China relations and its perceived benefits, things did not exactly play out that way. The relationship between UK and China has indeed faced challenges. Security concerns and political tensions have played a significant role. UK had alleged Huawei, the world's largest telecommunications equipment provider, to be a national security threat that could be used by China to spy on the UK. The UK's skepticism about using technology built by Chinese companies has raised national security concerns about the Hinkley Point deal. This has led to a complex situation where China has reportedly stopped funding Hinkley Point C amid these political tensions. It's a delicate dance between the international cooperation and national security concerns.
Thanks, Kaif. Now let's explore how France's involvement in the Hinkley C project has caused delays. France's involvement, primarily through EDF Energy, has faced challenges. First, there were fines imposed on EDF by the French watchdog for misleading investors about the cost of the project. Additionally, cost overruns and delays have plagued Hinkley. This created much frustration among the French investors, especially with the project not expected to be operational until 2027 at the earliest. To make matters worse, technical issues like flaws in the steel reactor vessel of a similar nuclear power plant in France have also raised safety concerns for the EPR design. It's been a bumpy road for sure.
The future outlook is complex. The Hinkley project is deemed essential for the UK's energy future. The involvement of France and China is both a boon and a challenge to the project. On one hand, the financial and technical contributions are crucial, and on the other, the degradation of political relations present a challenge. The increasing delays and cost overruns don't help the matter either. The relationship dynamics between the UK, China, and France will play a crucial role in shaping the trajectory of the project. The Hinkley C project is at a crossroads, and its future remains uncertain.
And that wraps up our episode on the international saga of the Hinkley C project. From the complexities of collaboration to the challenges posed by the shifting geopolitical landscapes, we've unpacked it all. As we reflect on the Hinkley C project, it's clear that the intersection of business, politics, and international relations is no simple landscape. The UK's decision to invite foreign powers into such a critical infrastructure venture was a strategic move driven by the need for funding and expertise and hoping for international partnerships. However, as we've seen, these collaborations come with a set of challenges of their own. The strained relationship between UK and China, delays caused by France's involvement, and the ongoing uncertainties surrounding the project highlight the requirement in managing global infrastructure initiatives. As always, the world of business is dynamic, and we'll continue to keep you updated on the latest developments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and let us know what you think about the Hinkley Point C in the comments down below. So stay tuned for more insightful discussions on the Business Boys Podcast. This is us signing off until next time.